What is the difference between semicolon and comma rules? Imagine you're trying to connect ideas smoothly in your writing. Knowing when to use a comma or a semicolon can make your sentences clearer and more effective. Let's explore how these two punctuation marks work and how they differ. A comma is a small punctuation mark that helps break up parts of a sentence. You use it to separate items in a list like apples, bananas, and oranges. Commas also join to complete thoughts when they are linked by words like and, but, or. For example, she wanted to go to the park, but it started raining. Here, the comma before but connects to full ideas. Commas also set off extra information in a sentence like, my brother, who lives in New York, is visiting us. The phrase, who lives in New York, adds detail but isn't essential. Lastly, commas separate a dependent clause from an independent clause. For example, after I finished my homework, I watched television. The first part cannot stand alone, so a comma connects it to the main idea. A semicolon is a bit stronger than a comma. It connects to complete sentences that are closely related but don't have a coordinating word like and or but. For example, the rain stopped, the sun came out. Both parts are full sentences and the semicolon links them smoothly. Semicolons are also helpful when listing items that already contain commas. For example, the speakers came from Paris, France, Rome, Italy, and Berlin, Germany. Using semicolons here prevents confusion. Additionally, semicolons can join to sentences with a transitional word like however or therefore. For example, I wanted to go to the beach, however, it was too cold. In everyday writing, commas are used much more often because they help make sentences easier to read. Semicolons are used for more complex connections, especially when you want to show a close relationship between two ideas or organize complicated lists. The word comma comes from Greek, meaning a piece cut off, while semicolon was created in the 16th century as a middle ground between a comma and a period. Both punctuation marks help writers show how ideas relate to each other, but they do so in different ways. For example, you might say, I love reading, writing, and painting, using commas to separate items. Or, I love reading, it helps me relax, using a semicolon to connect to related ideas. If you want to join to full thoughts with a word like but or and, you use a comma plus that word. If you want to connect to full thoughts without a word, a semicolon is the right choice. Understanding these rules helps your writing stay clear and organized. Using the correct punctuation makes your ideas easier to follow and shows your readers how your thoughts are connected.